Good day and welcome to this week's edition of Newsmakers. Newsmakers is a program produced by the Rock County Civics Academy that's intended to help the audience get up close and personal with people in the community who are making a difference in just how all of our lives go forward in this place we call community. It's my pleasure to welcome into the studio today Daniela Samara. She is the owner-operator of, well, she's the president and CEO of Havana Coffee and Cut for You, and she's into real estate, and she's just got a remarkable story, and she's done some remarkable things in the community. Welcome.
Well, thank you for having me. It's a real honor and pleasure. And down the road, I'll explain why. But
Well, and I want to start really with just kind of where you are today, because we'll get in a little deeper into the story of how you got there. But today, you are a successful businesswoman, and you are doing things that really make a difference on a day-by-day basis. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
well, I seem to get interested in a lot of different fields, but my main one in the recently years, I've been running a business as a salon owner. After that, I decided to go a totally different direction. I opened a cafe, a coffee shop, and then after that, I decided to go a little bigger. So now I'm trying to be in a developing field, the very beginning of it. But
A real estate mogul.
a real estate.
A real estate mogul.
Yeah.
And we have to go to the very beginning to really get an appreciation for the ladder that was created when you first got started. Folks notice that, one, you have a bit of an accent, and you are an immigrant, correct?
Of course, yes.
Yeah. You came to the United States with your family a day or two ago. and that had to have been a huge adjustment for you and Paul and I believe a young daughter at that time.
Yes. Yes, we emigrated in America in 1999, so like a day or two before, like you said. It was, we grew up in a country that we did have some connection with America because for generation people emigrated here. So we always heard only about good stories, and sometimes too good to be true. Also, it was a time when I was little that Albania was a communist country.
I was going to say you were part of an Eastern European
Correct,
bloc
yes.
of nations that were under the banner of the Soviet Union, and
Yes.
that country was going through a huge transition in 1999.
90s, yes. So it was, not that we had a lot of information about America, but it's one of those things that, you know enough to dream about it. Because sometimes if you get to more details, maybe it's not such a dream, but it was really something that even hard to imagine us being here, because at that time you couldn't travel out of the country. It was just a big no.
So what was the ticket out? Because you needed to have essentially a sponsor, didn't you? Somewhere to land when you came from Albania. Someplace where you would put up a residence and get
Yes.
yourself established. You had to have that much of a connection.
Yes, but the first step for us, it was, and it's like a fairy tale story, we won a lottery to come here.
Wow.
I don't know, I know a lot of people are familiar with it, but it's this lottery, they play it every year for people around the world that want to come here.
There's only so many visas that are
yeah,
available to come into the country, and you bid on them.
Yes. So you pretty much, it's a random pick at first. So I guess you got to be lucky and to be picked at that stage. And then after that, they go into more details and see, your educations and obviously somebody that's going to support you and all of, your records and everything. So, but that's after, you get that first letter. It was a big yellow envelope that says you won the American lottery.
Which is an amazing thing, I suppose, and a point where it's not only excitement, but there has to be a touch of fear of the unknown.
I mean, when you're young, you know.
Well, we're fearless, right?
Fearless, and especially to come in America, I don't think we heard anything to be feared of. At that time, we spoke. My husband spoke fluently English. I did a little bit, just enough to say my name and where I was from. But I guess that's good enough to emigrate here. You know, this country, it's used to that, backs you up with every possible thing you need, and that's good enough as a start.
You had essentially a place to land,
Right.
and you ended up in Fort Atkinson?
Fort Atkinson, yes. My uncle moved there before me. I guess we've been lucky as a big family. A lot of my relatives came before me. So he was the one to sponsor us, and it was, you know, very comforting to have somebody you don't know. You know, when we say that somehow all over the world people are the same, things are, but I think America to us was different in a lot of ways. So it was a completely unknown because again we didn't have a lot of information at that time. So.
Well, the world was a lot. Well, the world's a lot smaller now because of the fact that we've got 24/7 access to media, and if I wanted to visit Albania, I can pull up travelogues and I can see on film everything that one should expect. But again, until you land there and you get settled in and you start to assess the culture and how you're going to fit, that's a huge challenge. And to land from where you were into Fort Atkinson, Wisconsin, that's a huge step. What did you and your husband Paul initially? You're here, you've got a sponsor. I believe you had a daughter at that time.
Yeah, our older daughter.
A young daughter. What are the first steps to, I guess, get Americanized?
Obviously, it's the language. You know, the very first it's that barrier that you want to pass. And starting a job, and hopefully in our profession, which we were able to do, both of us. I think again we got lucky, and that was the first step to, you know, try to settle and go with the everyday life, and then every day you try to learn. At least we did, and every day you try to figure out where you are and things that surround you, and then to get to know people. That was my, you know, first thing I wanted to do was to really understand and know the culture of, you know, of this country and people. Yeah. And I still, to this day, I am very fascinated when, you know, every day I learn something new and I get to meet more people. So that was, you know, my first thing is, if you don't know the culture and if you don't get to know the people and the way they think. We still, me and my husband, when we decide to do something new, even in a business field or anything, we say we got to talk to somebody local that know exactly and see from their point of view what do they think about this. So that was always my thing. Like I have to learn to think how people from here think, and then I will feel 100% home.
Tough question. You land in 1999. You end up in Fort Atkinson. At some point in time, the realization comes in that it's a whole lot, in many respects, easier to get here than it is to go back. And you have to somehow establish new roots. Do you just wake up one day and you say, we're here, we have to make this work?
Yes and no. I mean, we didn't have to convince ourselves that we had to stay here. It was great from the very first day. it never crossed our mind that we want to go back. Not that it was terrible there, but you can't compare, you know. So we really didn't have to think. It was for us to try to, again, our biggest challenge is to feel home. And then you got to really put some work to that, you know, and it takes time. So
if you can't find home, you make home.
Yes, and going back, especially after you have spent time here and your kids have spent time here, yes, it is harder to go back than to stay. It's just pretty much you have to start all over again. And with obviously the standards and the way of living here, we all want to move forward, not backwards.
Sure, sure. And that's we preach. That's the American way.
Yes.
And so you're here. You both are fortunate. You find work. You learn English in the work environment.
Yes.
Which that's a story in and of itself. Your first job was at a salon.
Yeah, I started in Fort Atkinson in a small salon. Like I said, I barely, you know, knew enough to understand the clients. I prayed to God every single time that please make me understand what they like me to do. And sure enough, he did.
And you got pretty darn good at it.
Yeah, I think I learned fast because of that. I had to talk to people. You first start with the basics, and then you say the same thing, you know, how are you, how's your day, how are your kids, and then you move a little bit from that. And it's very interesting how that works. At first, you're able to say what you know, a few words. You don't understand much. It comes a phase that you understand a lot better than what you can speak.
Articulate, sure.
And then it comes another phase that you can speak, but then in a conversation, there's words that you don't even know. I mean, you can translate because you know the context of it, but you know, it's like, oh my gosh, I don't know a lot of words now. So I go back and forth to that, and it's so fascinating after a while when I am speaking in Albanian or in English. If I'm watching a movie in English or in Albanian, I don't even know. And sometimes I have to think like, did I watch this movie? Because we watch European channels. So it comes to that you don't know which one are you using. And then that's where you're comfortable. You're not translating. You're totally, you know, comfort of speaking both.
Which is kind of that magical spot. Educational psychologists argue that there's two ways to learn a language well. And one is to begin to learn it as a child. If you're a year to 3 years old, that's the ideal time for you to get introduced to a new language. And then the other method that is tried and true is immersion. And literally coming, as you did, you fell into the immersion category.
Yes, everybody is different. I did study a little bit, or I should say my husband was a big help, because instead of opening the book, I'll just ask him, because obviously just by, conversation, you have to go to the part that you know the rules and, so to formulate a sentence and all that fun stuff. So a little bit of both, but it was a great experience learning it. And like I said, when you feel like you can speak both and you don't have to really think about it, and the most exciting actually moment for me was when I had to, we were in a meeting and I was, hosting it. So I was able to do that all in English. I didn't have any problem with it. And to have that kind of confidence, it just felt great. I wasn't thinking of the meeting and what I wanted to talk. I was thinking, wow, I'm able to do this in English.
I'm on top of the world because I've got to that stage.
Yeah.
I have to try to put myself in your shoes for a moment, and you're here for a year or so, and you're automatically, I guess, you're thinking to yourself, I want to do what's best for my family. I want to get myself established. I want to make sure that we've got deep roots here, and I want to make sure that we're contributing in every way possible to our livelihood and our future success. I want to stay here, so I'm on that route to citizenship. That's a lot to have on your plate at one time. How did you manage all of that?
It's, I guess our background helped a lot. When you come from a world that you have to work a lot harder to get somewhere, it almost felt too easy.
Okay.
So even to this day, I go back and I visit not just Albania, Europe generally. I feel like it's still a lot harder there to navigate through life, and especially if you want to accomplish something. And it's not easy.
Yeah.
So, and it was not easy here, and I don't want to, if I get to the details, you can make it sound as hard as possible or as easy as possible. Nothing, it's easy.
Yeah.
But like I said, growing up like that you really have to work hard and have a goal, and it's not like, hey, if I don't do it, it's still okay. No, you do it because it's not okay if you don't do it. And coming all the way here, you always, because we left our families there, our parents, that was not an easy thing to do.
No.
So in my mind was I have to justify all that, because again, it was not a place at our home that we, came from nothing or anything. So we had an okay standard, but you look for more to get ahead. That's why you come here, so you better do it. So that, coming and just rolling with the average of every day without trying my best, that wasn't going to happen.
Well, and it begins to pay off.
Yes.
It does begin to pay off, because it wasn't that long into your journey that you started expanding and moving into new things. Tell us that story.
You start with the best thing, I guess, and the easiest thing for me was to open something in my profession, and that was a hair salon. I was very lucky again to have some people. They came and joined me, the stylists my co-workers. So I was able to open a full salon instead of just, I always looked to do things that are a little bigger, Again, whatever was in my power, but instead of choosing to open maybe a booth or a suite, I thought, hey, why not a salon? So my goals have been always a little bigger than, and then after I did that, I actually decided to open another salon. And I had that in Beloit for about 8 years.
So you have one in Janesville and one in Beloit.
Correct. I figured out how the system works here. It's pretty much if you have a backup, if you show people that, hey, I have big goals and I want to expand and I want to do better, you have a really big support from them. So every time I said, hey, I want to open another business, I was like, everybody was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. When are you going to do that? So full support. And
one of the challenges, though, that I hear continuously as I have my conversations with female business owners in particular, the challenge of going to visit the banker and making sure that you have that capital support that you need to expand your business. I have nothing but admiration for you because you've worked through that. And there's unique challenges there, aren't there?
Yes, and again, if you want me to go to details of that, I don't know if you if you do.
Needless to say, it was not always pleasant.
Yeah, it's not. I think I will give you a little detail though. I think banks they operate with two different windows. There's a window for people that have money. And are men. It's a window for people that, especially women. I think it's a very last one. Maybe it's 3. I don't know. But you're in the very last. I know that. And it's again such a great feeling when you get to prove them wrong.
yeah.
So I hope some of them have a chance to see this interview because it was like me trying to explain and to make it so. When I come and I ask for money in that case, I have every possible back plan and everything, but still it's not good enough. So. What you do instead, it's you put your 150% work from yourself.
Well, you give new meaning to the phrase sweat equity.
Yes.
Because you're investing your heart
Exactly.
and your soul physically, emotionally, mentally into that progress. Let's flip the clock ahead, and we're closing out on the 20 teens. And something inside you said, I think I want to open a coffee shop. And you spot a former car dealership on Milton Avenue, and somehow you have this vision that this empty showroom in front, and my gosh, that's where they repaired the cars in the back. That can be a show place. Tell us more.
I think looking from the business perspective, when you want to open some new business, you look for what consumers need or like to see at least. And I thought a coffee shop was something that, first of all, who would say no to a cup of coffee? So it's a necessity in a way, yes, and I think it's become more lately. And then the second is, okay, I come again from a world that we have a lot of coffee shops.
I was going to say, my European experience is there's a coffee shop on just about every other corner, and they're very warm, intimate places that people come and they have conversations, real conversations, or they're sitting out on the sidewalk and they're conversing in all kinds of weather and transacting all sorts of transactions.
That's the best place to hang out. It's the coffee shop.
Yeah.
So again, sometimes I think consumers they will ask for something that they know exactly or have had it before. Sometimes you have to be creative and present it to them, thinking that that's something that they'll definitely like. So there was room for that. I thought there is something they will definitely like. A place when they can sit, they can feel comfortable like they are at their own home. And they'll have the great coffee, and they'll have the all surrounding something to make them feel great.
Well, the one thing I do have to make this my commercial. The one area where you have a huge distinction from other coffee shops is you have probably the most elaborate menu of food that you could possibly hope for. And from personal experience and testimonials, everything on that menu is incredible. It's exceptional. And I've teased you off and on about just how extensive it is, but it works.
Yes.
It works. And that's a differentiator.
Yes, for sure. In our conversation, you today you said it a lot nicely, but it is again something that slowly. Obviously, I didn't start with that menu. You slowly introduce to people what you think they will like. It's taking a risk, but smaller risks at a time, because it's always easy to take it off the menu. And I always thought, besides what people know, there's always room to serve them something else and better, in my opinion, and more variety. So, and a big thing that I wanted to accomplish was to the food to be as healthy as possible. So that's another thing we do pay a lot of attention.
Well, you pay an incredible amount of attention to it because everything has a personal touch to it.
Yes.
It's not like everything is prepackaged. Everything has a personal touch.
Yes, there is nothing prepackaged.
It's a unique environment, and it's a special environment for that reason.
Yes, it's the food has to be as healthy as possible. It's like your mom cooking at home. We do 99% of the items are prepped and cooked there, so we
On-site,
don't
in the
have
kitchen,
anything
in the
packaged.
back, yeah.
Yeah, from our pastries to our sandwiches. Our most of our produce, we buy them every day because they have to be fresh. Nothing that we put on a sandwich, as far as the vegetables and all that, you know, it's sitting in the fridge for more than 2 days. So it's definitely, people don't know, they don't need to know, but I think they can taste it. So.
You definitely taste the quality.
Yes.
You definitely taste the quality. You are still in the salon business.
Yes.
And so you have two ventures right now that are time consuming, and they're both growing and booming. And at the same time, you find some time. Apparently, you had some free time because you decided to get into the real estate business.
Yes, that's my new hobby.
You are in the midst of building a multi-purpose sort of professional commercial office space at 1247 Milton Avenue. It's the first from scratch new building of its kind to go up in Milton Avenue in a long time. And having seen the architectural renderings, it's a spectacular building.
Thank you.
What's the inspiration?
It starts again with looking at that space and thinking that, my goodness, you know, something nice can be put in there. And I guess when you have the possibilities, or you think you do, because you find out that's not easy again, and then you have the spirit of an entrepreneur that you know you want to create things. It's just another dream that you wake up and you don't think of what's going to be in your way and how hard, and you don't have time and none of that. You just get after it, and you roll with everything you're doing every day. And I don't know how much you can stretch the time, but quite a bit. You fit something like that, and again, you wake up and it makes you feel great. It's like, oh, this is something, you know, that I thank God that I have the opportunity to do it.
Well, and I know for a fact that you cannot extend 168 hours in a week. That's kind of the maximum that we have. But somehow you found a way to maximize your utilization of all of that time, to run the successful business, to raise a family, to invest in the community, to find ways to give back to the community, and you've done it in a fashion that. People have to smile when they learn that, you know, you can do that. You can make things happen. Believe it or not, you're an amazing role model for not only young women, but for young people all over, that if you put your mind to it, there's really very little that you can't accomplish.
Exactly. I think you can, you know, there's people in this world that have done a lot bigger things. I really thank God that I am able to do what I do. So yes, it's amazing how much you can really fit in your schedule. And obviously it gets to a stage that all of this, you can't do it alone. So you have to have the right people by your side, and I certainly do. You still have to, if you really want to not really lower or anything the standard of on the existing business is what you have, you still have to be on top of it, and that's my goal. You got to do things right, what's coming, but you got to keep things, you know, in the same fashion you were doing it before. So, but yes, it's when I look at the kids now, and you know, I am not 18, and I wish I was, with full of energy. And it's like, my gosh, you can do so much.
If you put your mind to it, you can change the world.
Yes.
And you have done a remarkable job of, in your own way, starting to change the world. And it's a great example And I would be remiss if I didn't say thank you for the sponsorship well, the faith you have in us, in the Civics Academy, to get a positive message out into the community that all things are possible if you do the right things. So thank you for that.
Absolutely.
Quickly, timeline on this new building that's taking shape. When should we expect to see it finished up, and hopefully we'll have some opportunities coming forward from there that we don't currently have on Milton Avenue?
Well, we're moving fast, despite some of that always it's obstacles. I think maybe the most in 3 months we hope to be done. Now it's at the phase that we're really looking at changes, and it's completing with the outside of it, and it's going to, at least from outside, it's going to look like it's finished shortly. I think, to my opinion, it's looking really beautiful, and hopefully by the next month, like I said, from outside it will look more complete.
Well, and I will tell you that from the artist renderings, and just to see it come together as I have, it is going to be sort of the model place for all future development that's going to happen, hopefully, if we're going to spiff up Milton Avenue, because, well, 1247 Milton Avenue is a building of exceptional character. It's a bit unique in terms of facade and the way it's laid out. It's an exciting project, and it's one the city as a whole should be excited about, because it really represents new investment in a commercial corridor that's gotten kind of old and tired. So, and for being a pioneer in so many different ways, that just speaks volumes about who you are.
It's very exciting. Obviously, Milton Avenue, it's set up a little different than a lot of other places, which I find it a great place for business. You have so many businesses next to each other, and it's like I said, instead of being sporadic here and there. So in a way, you kind of compete with everybody. But again, if you do things and you do things right, then you do set a different tone and expectation. And city, from the very first meeting we had, I think they were very supportive. I can't thank them enough.
Yeah.
It's been a great way of working with them. It was something that I feared the most, was that part, but it actually, with really support and guiding from good friends, it's been a lot more fun than what I thought.
I have to say that it's been an honor to have you on our program. A pioneer, somebody who's been willing to show the grit and the intelligence to work their way through a challenging system, and to do it in a way that is amazingly admirable, because, well, you came a long ways just to get started here, and you've done so exceptionally well. I'm thinking nothing but beautiful things are awaiting you going forward.
Remember at the very beginning I said I'm really lucky and honored, and for the reasons that I just said, for me to, as an immigrant coming from far away, in a young age with little kids, trying to accomplish something in life, and then being here and talking about my accomplishment. That's why I said what I said. I'm very honored, and I'm very blessed to be here.
Well, Daniela Samara, thank you. I put an invitation out to any one of our listeners. We try and do a regular coffee hour or so every week at Havana Coffee.
Havana Coffee.
And we invite you to reach out, come join us, continue the conversation there, and if we're fortunate enough, you might be there to be introduced. So thank you.
Sure.
Thank you so very much for your time.
Oh, much appreciated.
That's going to wrap this edition of Newsmakers. Watch each week. We introduced another person who, Well, you get a chance to get to know up close and personal people who behind the scenes are making a dramatic difference in the quality of life we enjoy here in this place we call Janesville, our hometown. Thank you.